Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, happy Monday morning. What an impressive weekend of baseball put on by the Tampa Bay Rays, your only undefeated team in Major League Baseball. How about that? Got lots of Rays stuff to get to. Stu Sternberg chatted with the media today. We may have a few thoughts, or on Saturday, I believe it was. We may have a few thoughts on that as well. The Masters was certainly not as dramatic as hoped, but a very interesting day and weekend for the Masters. Not the most drama on a Sunday, but a lot of interesting things coming out of that. So we'll get to that. Some Buccaneers talk, all kinds of good stuff. Rich Hollenberg is going to join us at 11:30 to talk some Rays, and we'll get into some spring football, all kinds of good stuff. So let me see. All right, good. Curt Weiler is going to join us at 10:30 from Tallahassee to talk about the Fsu Spring Game. So we got that as well going on. So we're also trying to catch up with Will Turner, USF, to talk about that spring game. Nick Geddes, Outkick.com, joining me this morning after a weekend of covering Tiger for Outkick, right? That was your assignment this weekend?
Yeah, I was already planning on watching majority of Tiger Woods shots this weekend, but I watched every single shot. I watched every step he took, every moment, and documented it for Outkick, and I think it was really well done, and it got a lot of great feedback from readers, and wrote some columns after every round, kind of analyzing what he did. And yesterday, that moment of him going up 18, I don't know if you got a chance to see that, which was very emotional for him.
A lot of people gathered around the television at Amalie Arena while we were watching the hockey game. By the way, the Lightning with a nice 5-0 win over the Sabres. Not to be forgotten. I mean, of course, we expect them to win that game. We expect them to win every game, right? But we'll get into some Lightning talk as well. But, yeah, I think, for me, the whole thing about Tiger this weekend was, I honestly never thought I'd see Tiger compete in a major again. And he did compete this week. I mean, let's not I know he wasn't in contention, but there were a lot of great golfers that weren't in contention this weekend. I mean, it was ridiculously hard conditions at the Masters this weekend. And Scottie Scheffler played a tremendous 4 days of golf, very consistent. Listening to his post-round interview, I was almost shocked that he won the golf tournament because of his mental state. He said he was literally crying from anxiety Sunday morning. That's not the way you want to go into a final round of the Masters, but he pulled it together. And I got to believe, because he looked a little shaky early on, but when he chips in at 3, which, by the way, he could stand there with 6 large buckets of balls and probably not get within 3 feet of the shot, and he hits the stick and drains it, and at the same time, Cameron Smith bogeys the hole, and he got off to a fast start, cut the lead to 1, and then he chips in. And that to me was, I'd probably say, top 5 shots I've seen at the Masters. I mean, rarely do you win a Masters on the 3rd hole, but he did right there. That was the key shot. Without question.
Yeah, he had an excellent weekend, and his wife obviously waiting for him when he got there, his whole family.
Yeah.
A very humble guy, too. 25 years old on the run of his life. 4 wins and 6 starts for Scottie Scheffler. And never folded. Never folded one bit, even when Rory had a historic day yesterday.
Wow, 64 for Rory. Wow, where did that come from?
I don't know. He might have just ran out of holes, maybe.
Yeah.
But a historic day for him. Scottie Scheffler never gave anybody a shot to get close.
It's different playing without pressure. It's way different playing without pressure. You can see it with Rory, but that's a good sign for him. And maybe, as far as Tiger goes, I thought he competed extremely well. I mean, for those conditions, for him to, and when it was going well, you could see the smile on his face on Friday. This weekend was tough for everybody, and really, really tough for Tiger. I mean, obviously, he's never shot 6 over 2 days in a row.
No.
That's never happened to him, and certainly not at the Masters. But he wasn't the only one struggling out there. It was tough conditions.
Yeah. Did you read up on Tyrell Hatton's quotes about his?
What did he say?
I don't think he's going back to Augusta ever again. Basically, he kind of complained. He's like, everything here is like way over exaggerated. I hit a good shot and I don't get rewarded for it because you got these like gimmicky slopes everywhere.
Gimmicky slopes.
It's basically exactly what he said. So he even said, if I ever come back here again, which I've never heard anybody say that about the Masters. He was having a rough go.
It's an invitation only. So I think he's pretty much assured himself that he won't be back.
No, he finished like plus 20.
You don't talk shit about the Masters.
Yeah,
you don't talk shit
think
about
so.
Augusta.
Didn't
You
think
just
so.
don't. You don't do that. And this is, I don't know. I like him. He's a very personable player. I think a lot of people, I think he's got a lot of fans. But you lost a lot of fans doing that. You don't do that.
Did you see him? I think he double bogey or he triple bogeyed a putt, and he raised up his putter, and he kind of did like this with it, like shooting up the golf course with his putter. He did that motion after he got a triple bogey at the Masters.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is not going to go over well.
No.
You think Phil Mickelson's been banned for a while? Wow. But there are certain, it's interesting. There's certain, obviously, qualifications to get into the Masters, but in the end, it's still an invitational. So he could reach those qualifications and they could go, why invite him if he doesn't like it?
No. But yeah,
he'll regret those comments.
He probably will
He'll regret those comments.
But yeah, we know
it seems like I think everybody loves. I think Rondé played with him for 9. Yeah, Rondé played with him for 9 holes at Valspar, and he just said, "Oh, what a great dude! Like fantastic guy, but like really and very personal, and the fans love him."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a way to F your career really quick.
Yeah,
that's dumb, but whatever. The story is about Scottie Scheffler. And guy asked me last night at Emily, he's like, "Do you think this guy's going to go on a run?" And it's like, we've seen this many times before. We've seen guys get really, really hot and then they flame out. Whether it's for injury or just, guys. I mean, look at Matsuyama. He hasn't done anything. And guys get injured because they stop playing and they're getting, all this. When you win the Masters, it's life-changing. Once you're a Masters champion, you're going to be rich for the rest of your life because you can do corporate outings for $100,000 to play with a Masters champ. You never have to compete again. You're going to be flush with cash the rest of your life. But it seems like a lot of guys, especially recently, look at Danny Willett, you look at Matsuyama, you look at these guys that come out of nowhere and win the Masters. You get so much fame and fortune that your life becomes so easy. Why would you work your ass off, on the range for 5 hours every day and continue when you've already won the Masters and you're going to have as much money as you'll ever have in your life? You don't need to. But only guys like Tiger and the guys that are truly committed to the game and committed to greatness will continue to do it. And because it's hard. There's no motivation left. You've reached the top of the mountain.
Yeah. But he clearly is a guy that has his priorities in check. We talked about last week, athletes who glorify God after their highest moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you got a chance to see Scottie Scheffler's comments right after winning.
Yeah.
Saying that, it all goes back to my faith. The reason why I'm playing golf is I'm trying to glorify God and all that he's done. It's not about a golf score. And my wife told me before I went out there, if you lose this tournament, if you lose by 10 strokes or you win the thing, I still love you. God still loves you. And it's just like incredible perspective to have.
It's great perspective.
And so when I hear something like that, I do kind of think he might be able to sustain it because he's got his priorities in check.
Yeah,
he goes out there and he's calm.
He definitely does. And that is a big part of it because when you realize that winning golf tournaments is in the grand scheme of things, I won't say irrelevant, but it's in the grand scheme of things, it's frivolous. It's a golf game. But, and if you keep it in that perspective, you can do great things. And that's, and he seems to be one of those guys that even though he was crying from anxiety, once you go out there and do it, and you can do it, and you have the confidence to do it. And it seemed every time that he got challenged, he stepped up with a big shot or a big birdie. I mean, that's the way. Obviously, you win championships. Once it starts going wrong, how do you correct it? How do you get back into it? And that's exactly what he did. We got a little sound from Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, this was what I was just alluding to. This was his full answer right after.
I love this. Love it.
I think that all goes back to my faith. The reason why I play golf is because, I'm trying to glorify God and, all that he's done in my life. And so for me, my identity isn't a golf score. Like Meredith told me this morning, she says, if you win this golf tournament today, if you lose this golf tournament by 10 shots, if you never win another golf tournament again, she goes, I'm still going to love you. You're still going to be the same person. Jesus loves you. And nothing changes. And all I'm trying to do is glorify God. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm in this position. And so for me, it's not about a golf score. Every day when we go out there, Meredith always prays for peace, because that's what I want to feel when I'm out there on the golf course. So I want to feel peace and have fun and just feel his presence. And so that's her prayer every day. That's my prayer. And I really felt that today.
It's interesting. I watched a lot of post game last night on Golf Channel and other places, and I didn't see that anywhere. Did you?
No. I saw one CBS guy had asked him the question, and he posted it. And if I wouldn't have seen that, I wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah, he mentioned it in his post on CBS. But as I've said before, you'll only hear those when they're live, because when they're put on tape and people have to go back and edit it, they will not use that. Even though he just said what the most important thing, the reason he's playing golf, it's the number one reason for his success. If he said, you know what, I just got a new driver and I hit it 30 yards longer than I've ever hit any other driver, it's got some type of titanium face, it would be the biggest story in golf. Mm-hmm. But when he says the most important thing is his faith, no, the corporate media, we can't show that. We cannot show that.
And to the contrary, when I was going through the comment section last night underneath the quotes, there were a lot of people banging him for it. Lot of people.
What were they saying?
That's tremendously effing lame, actually, was one of the top quotes. And again, it's one for one jackass to say that. But then you have like hundreds of people who like the tweet. And I just sit there and go, what is wrong with you guys?
Well, because now, like many other things, faith, Christianity has become synonymous with transphobia, transphobic, racist, all this other stuff. They've connected them all. All Christians are transphobic. They're all bigots. They're all racist. Even though these are the people that are the most, well, I won't say all, I'm generalizing here, but do more good for society than just about any subgroup that you can say. And many of them do not take the Bible, like myself, do not take the Bible literally and are not anti-gay, transphobic, or anything like that. They're just really, really kind people that have faith. But that's where we are. And and once somebody says it, it's the groupthink. It's the groupthink. Oh, it's a faith. Oh, that's that, he's a bit, he's a trans. It is what it is. But when you have an athlete saying it and it's completely ignored, shouldn't that tell you something? At least a little something. But anyway, good on you, Scott Scheffler. Nice to see Rory back. Although, even though it's a tremendous 64, the lowest final round score I think we've had in quite some time. I don't want to say it's meaningless, but you got to do it when the pressure's on.
He's got so close at the Masters. I mean, this is 6 times I think he's been in the top 10.
Yeah.
And now it's a few times in the top 5. But the electricity on 18 yesterday with him and Colin Morikawa.
How about that?
I mean, we were waiting for some kind of great moment.
2 great shots.
2 great shots back to back. Rory just tosses the ball into the patrons. That was a great moment. That was my favorite moment probably of the weekend besides seeing Tiger, I think.
I would rank it as I'm never going to forget that shot on 3. That shot on 3 is just,
it was incredible.
And in the circumstances, Cam comes with it, he right out of the gate, your 1x6 shot lead is now 1.
Yeah.
I mean, this is time, and you got probably one of the most delicate chips you'll ever have in your life. Big old mound in front of you. Hit it too far, you got no chance to come back and make the putt. Hit it too short, it's coming back at your feet. There's only, it's almost a go for broke, bump and run, hit it into this slope, hope that you get the right bounce, and the thing goes in the hole. And then, at that point, Cam Smith, I'm like, and he may not even hit this ball with his club. It's like at that point, and he makes bogey, and then the rest is history. And it wasn't really challenged much after that.
No, I thought this was one of the hardest Masters to play. The conditions on Friday and Saturday were no joke. They were no joke. And it's one of the reasons why Tiger just could not compete. It was too much to ask to be out there in 40-degree weather. Yeah. To be with 31-mile-an-hour winds.
Brutal.
He couldn't even, a reason why his putting let him down all weekend. Yeah. And he couldn't properly bend down to read putts. It just let him down. He didn't have a stroke there. So that was his issue. But the fact that Scottie Scheffler going into Sunday was shots ahead, and the day before, he Everybody else, I don't think anybody really shot under par except for like him and Justin Thomas, but he shoots 5 under par on the Friday, which was the toughest day. I mean,
he's got game. He's got unbelievable game, and he's fearless. He's just fearless, and that's comes with being 25 and having faith.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, when you're on a golf course, when you have that mindset, like it doesn't really matter if I shoot 75 today and I lose the Masters. It really doesn't in the grand scheme of things. And I think when you have that mentality, you're dangerous as a golfer. Yeah. You're dangerous as a golfer. So congrats to Scottie Scheffler. And do I think he has staying power? It's a great question. History tells us no, right? History says, just because a guy wins a Masters or a major championship, and it's 4 out of what, 5 now?
But 4 to 6. But I will tell you this, and it's an insane stat for Tiger Woods, of course, but Scottie Scheffler, so Tiger's done this 8 times, I believe. Scottie Scheffler just became the second golfer ever to win 4 events, a major and a WGC tournament in the same calendar year.
Yeah.
And he's done it here in April. Tiger Woods did it 8 times, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
But nobody else had done it in the history of golf, and Scottie Scheffler's already done it. I think he's got some staying power.
He's got, and it's, and it is the mindset that really makes me think that he can do it. That's what's different. A lot of other guys are chasing fame and fortune, and the world around them expects them to do something, and they get caught up into it. And when you're a man of faith like that, it's not the same perspective.
Yeah.
All right, and back to the race. You want to do a little play-by-play home run action, a little Brandon Lowe 437-foot bomb. This was next to Vladdy's.
Let's cue it up here.
This might have been one of my favorite baseball moments of the weekend, because this was a bomb.
And another one.
Listen to that.
High and deep to right center. Gone.
That was a whipping bomb. Nice crowd all weekend, by the way.
Brandon Lowe hit 39 last year. His first hit this year. To right center. A 2-run shot. Here it is.
Well, there's a new sound system here at Tropicana Field, and it sounded like that bat was mic'd up, because that contact was
wow.
No doubt.
Yeah, bomb.
Okay, first of all, let's just say it's the Orioles, but the Dodgers are 1-2.
Yes, they are, and they were in the Rockies.
Yeah. So look, it's baseball. Anything can happen, even with the Orioles. This is my favorite stats of the weekend: no errors, no wild pitches, no pass balls in the first weekend, and deep counts. A lot. Josh Lowe went 47 pitches.
42 pitches, his first 6 at-bats.
Wow. I mean, and you got Wander Franco.
Oh, my gosh.
We saw his ability once again defensively.
Yeah.
Run and make that catch, ran 99 feet to get that.
I think I was saying, a lot of people were saying, maybe you need to move him to third and not have Taylor Walls go away from short. Wander's like, hell no, I'm not moving away from short. He was 6 for 11 all weekend, beating out infield grounders. He beat out like 2 infield grounders.
How about the one Rosarena beat out to basically get to the winning run?
Yeah.
On, was that Friday?
Yeah, I believe it was Friday.
Yeah.
Just doing all the little things right. It's the things we've been accustomed to seeing the Rays do. I think it was a perfect weekend of baseball.
And Kluber pitched well.
He got himself a little trouble with the walks, but overall was nice. McClanahan had the worst start you could ever have with the hitting of the batter, and then he settled down and had his stuff going. Obviously, none of these guys are ready to get stretched out much, so we only saw them for like 4 1/3, 4 2/3. But still, the bullpen was awesome. Dylan Beek's a name we haven't heard in a while.
I loved him when he came up, and he looks like he's back to his old.
Came back yesterday,
better,
4 strikeouts and like an inning and 2/3, so he was awesome. And Josh Lowe, I mean, listen, we were yelling at y'all yesterday about Austin Meadows, and it wasn't the fact that Josh Lowe was coming up, but we kind of saw why the Rays value Josh Lowe the way they do. And he was ranked, I think, a number 50 prospect in baseball And the Rays, apparently, the broadcast said they believe he's a top 5 prospect in baseball, hence why they wanted him up here now. And with that kind of plate vision and the hustle, he legged out a 222. He's got wheels as well. I mean, him and Wander Franco in the middle of that order for years to come is going to be very exciting.
Really, really good stuff. Let's listen to Kevin Cash talk about the weekend and the Sunday win, 8-0 over the Orioles.
Offense kind of break out. Look, credit the Orioles. They've pitched us pretty well the first 2 days, and then we had some big at-bats. Wells is tough to be able to get 4 off of them, get to their bullpen. Good to see Brandon get his big hit a long way. It was crucial. I think made it 4-0 at that time. And Wander continues just to have good at bat after good at bat.
And then Wander also that crazy catch in the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Was that just as impressive to you guys as it was to us?
That's covering a lot of ground. You better be careful because when we go to 4-man outfield, we might stick him out there now.
Corey Kluber also wanted to ask about him. 4 2/3 of scoreless baseball. I guess you probably couldn't have asked for more from him.
Yeah, pumped for Klubs. We really, Kyle and I both, and I know Corey did too. We wanted to get that final out in the 5th, but felt like that pitch count had gotten to where any more than that, and we're getting a little uncomfortable. But he's going to have plenty of opportunities to get his W's, but he certainly contributed. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he should get the win, but I know that's not the rule.
Kept me at bats before Brandon too. I think it was a 30-second pitch. Wasn't throwing in that inning, kind of set him up for a big hit there.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like we really grinded out at bats. So we made a young pitcher in Wells who's very talented. He's got electric stuff. Kind of built his pitch count up maybe a little quicker than he would have liked, and then Brandon capitalized. He threw a 2-strike fastball after fouling off some splits and nasty off-speed pitches, and got a fastball that he could handle, hit a long way.
Kevin, you must be happy with just how you guys have handled the quality of the at-bats really all weekend. It seemed like you've been doing a lot of grinding from Friday up.
Yeah, I think that's a message that Motor certainly gives the hitters, and the guys buy into that approach, like just not making it easy for pitchers and doing everything you can. I mean, strikeouts are going to come, walks are going to come, but just make sure that we're being selective enough to get pitches that we can handle, and when you get them, handle them. And it felt like we did that this weekend.
That's sort of a textbook example of a veteran with Kluber, that he struggled a little bit in the first inning and then just got more efficient as he went on.
Yeah, very, very, very good example. What do you have, 22 pitches, something like that in the first? Yeah, so drove his 26. Drove his pitch count higher than he would like. And with other guys, you're sitting there saying, okay, that's automatically going to shave an inning off. But I think he's earned the trust with his track record to let him continue to work through it. And I think he felt pretty good.
Another great day for the bullpen.
Yeah, our bullpen has been just lights out. Happy for Jalen Beeks. That's pretty cool that he comes back from injury. We saw it with Springs the other day. Now with Jalen to come in just 2 innings, and his first 2 batters didn't come easy. But Kyle went out there, kind of a good mound visit, settled him down, and got through an inning at 2/3. Looked really, really fresh, really clean, and stuff was just exactly what we saw in spring training. So encouraged by that.
3-0 for the first time in a decade, this team. I'd imagine you take that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. I had no idea, but yes, excited about that.
I mean, it was pretty much, when you look at starting pitching, bullpen, defense today with the offense, pretty flawless 3 games.
I'll let you say that. Yeah.
Well done, Cash. Well done. You don't want to say that as a manager. You don't want to. It's baseball. Stuff can turn around really, really quickly.
It could, but I mean, the way the schedule gods have got them here going, you get Baltimore to start. You got a 4-game set against Oakland starting tonight, by the way. Mm-hmm. The 2 worst teams in the American League, maybe in all of baseball. You can't ask for a better schedule opening if you're the Rays. If you want
better than the Red Sox and going on the road to Boston and Toronto as they were supposed to.
A lot better. You have a chance. I know it's early, but you're already the only first undefeated. I mean, win 3 out of 4 here, get a sweep, and get some distance within yourself because it's a tough division.
April games count as much as September. So, it's no joke. Take advantage. And these are games you got to win. When you look back at your schedule, you don't want to lose 7 games this year to the Orioles. You don't. That could be the difference in winning the winning the American League East. So you take care of your business, and you have to.
Yeah, they were just the cleanest team all weekend. The second inning yesterday, I said, it's how you teach a class how to manufacture runs.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to see them playing small ball.
Oh my God,
and which is always something I'd love to see them bunt more, but I guess that's just not a thing we want to do. But we had two runs scoring sack flies and to win one game, and then a couple ground outs.
Yeah, we're beating out grounders.
What? Strikeouts are not the same as ground outs.
No, they're not.
No.
Don't let anybody tell you that.
No.
Harold Ramirez is sliding into first base to beat out a grounder. That's a big dude.
Yeah.
It's a big dude, and he was hustling down there to beat out a grounder. It set up the sack fly, which then set up the Brandon Lowe home run.
Right.
That's how you work an inning.
Yeah.
I was watching that. I was grinning ear to ear. I was like, I love this. Is Rays baseball.
Yeah, and that's it's something that they have to do, and they do it very well, and they play with that edge. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I have to say a couple words. As optimistic as we have been about the on-field stuff, we have to say a couple words about our man Stu, who did a little I guess back and forth with some of the reporters. He did do an on-camera interview. Do we have that one? You want to play that? Play that up. According to the team payroll, while you cue that up, he said, without saying Freddie Freeman's name, Sternberg noted that the Rays, this is from Mark Topkins' piece on the Times, were prepared for the payroll to be a good deal higher, like $25 million this season, as they chased the slugging first baseman, one of the few players who could make them much better at any one position. As a result, quote, we're in place right now where we've got some flexibility to get better if need be. We know there'll be issues going forward during the year. It could be covered by minor leaguers, our guys in AAA, and also be covered by people on the wires who we pick up, and then potential acquisitions. So we feel that we've got some flexibility, but yeah, this is a good size payroll. And we'd like to think coming off a season we did in the World Series the year before, we're going to get a little bit of a lift at the gate as well, which would be helpful. I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse here, but how can we in any way, shape, or form take this stuff on face value? You had an all-star in Austin Meadows. If you were willing to spend $25 million more, you're telling me the only trade we could make was for Paredes, who's a good prospect. We'll give him that. Not a great prospect, a good one. If he was a great prospect, there would be other things going on with him. He's a good prospect. You're telling me that you could not find another major leaguer that could help you on this team as an experienced starting pitcher, or in the bullpen, or even a first baseman in all of Major League Baseball for Austin Meadows? I'm sorry, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that, and I'm calling bullshit on it. Because if you wanted to spend that $25 million, what's the difference between spending 25 and 30? If you're going to go out and get Freddie Freeman. And I say it to this day, they had no business being in that. And they knew they weren't going to win it. It was all smoke and mirrors. So don't sit here and throw that Freddie Freeman thing in my face. You didn't get it done. It's meaningless. It's meaningless. Stop it. Just because you put something out there by an agent that you're after him, he didn't even want to come here anyway. I mean, it's meaningless. So stop it. And if we get some more help at the gate, we can spend more at the payroll. What about the $500 million that's in your other bank account? Anybody ask you about that? Anybody ask you about the lawsuits? Anybody? Come on. And then do you have the interview queued up?
Yes.
I know we got a guest coming up, so we might well have to hold this till later. Let's hold the post for later. But basically, what he said is he's working both sides of the bay, or we're going to talk to both sides of the bay. That is bullshit. Why are you doing this? Still, I mean, it's infuriating. How much longer are we going to postpone this? Till it can't be done? Until all the development land is gone? How much longer are we going to wait, Stu? This is not hard. It's so easy to do. Just say, we're committed to get it done in downtown Tampa. Brian Auld and Matt Silverman said it last week. That's where your best future is in terms of your business. Everybody knows it. We know Major League Baseball has said we're not going to allow you to build in St. Pete. So why are we still playing this stupid ass game? Because you're trying to get a better deal. You're trying to pit one city against the other and in negotiations. Why don't you just do a fair deal? Why the public is willing to give you $350 million to help build your stadium, and that's still not good enough? With all the money you've made off this team, the $500 million you have in the bank, allegedly, from the lawsuit, all this money you've made and all the money you're going to make in the future, and you still can't pull the trigger on this because you want to get the best deal you can and soak the public as much as you can? Try being a freaking public partner for once in your life. Think besides your own pocketbook and winning games on the lowest payroll. For once, do the right thing, Stu. I mean, I don't have anything personal against the guy. I really don't. But this infuriates me the way he has played the public and continues to play the media for the most part. And where are I love so many of my brethren in the media, but where are these tough questions? And I'm sure they'd say to me, well, you get your ass out there and ask them. Well, I'm pretty sure they're not giving me a credential. But Stu can come on this show anytime. Anytime. We'd love to have him, or Matt or Brian. And I've offered for them to come on, and, well, we're not crickets. So, and I'm the biggest Rays supporter in the world. I want to see him there for a long, long time. I don't have anything personal against Stu at all. I just want to see this team run differently, like local ownership would run it. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Curt Weiler will join us from the Tallahassee Democrat. He was up there for the spring game for Florida State this weekend. We're checking in on all of our schools. We'll be doing USF. Florida spring game coming up on Thursday. We'll cover them all. Stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month, and the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Juliet collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection, the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade it anytime and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop local with the folks who support our community in so many charitable endeavors. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, just a short 15-minute ride from Tampa, just over the bridge on Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month, and the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Julieve collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection of the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade at any time and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop local with the folks who support our community in so many charitable endeavors. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, just a short to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back. Sorry, I had a little technical glitch there, but we are up and running here. And we want to welcome in Curt Weiler from the Tallahassee Democrat, covering the Florida State Seminoles spring game this past weekend. Over 30,000 out there in beautiful weather. What's up, Curt? How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on, JP.
Absolutely. I'll give you a little overarching 30,000-foot question right now, right off the top. As we sit here with Mike Norvell, I guess this is year 3. I'm so confused from COVID, and all the crap that has gone on in this program. Is there a sense that this team has a foundation now and is definitely working back to hopefully the national championship level of what it was less than a decade ago? Is that something that is widely considered true, or would you push back on that?
I mean, they're trending in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, the big thing is, especially, I mean, entering year 3, you're right, it is year 3, or this will be upcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is definitely a prove-it year for Mike Norvell. I mean, 3 wins in year 1, 5 last year. This feels like a year where they have to get to that probably 7 mark. 8 will be even better. And I think it's a team that could do it. I think it's a schedule that could allow it. I mean, given the teams that are going to be on there, I think it lines up about as well as it could. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I feel better, especially about, I mean, looking across the roster, starting it. There are some positions where depth would be a bit of a concern. But so, I mean, injuries could obviously derail things. That's pretty much the case across the country. But I do feel better about especially the top unit on this team, and that, I mean, there's a chance that I think this could start trending back in the right direction.
And before we talk about players and whatnot, do you get a sense that Florida State has now put a lot of ducks in the row? It's the indoor facility, the new locker room just opened up. You know, what this is, you know, a war of resources, so to speak, with some of these bigger Alabamas and Georgias and what have you. You know, the one thing you can't say about Mike Norvell is he doesn't have a plan. He's working that plan. It seems like everything now is kind of more in place to compete with everybody, including, I know the name, image, and likeness, the Rising Spear group. That seems to be more solid. So all that ancillary stuff that you need to win, does it seem like it's in place now?
More so. I think that the fear with Rising Spear, they also have another one in Warpath that's run through Dreamfield out of Orlando. So they have kind of 2 NIL collectives that bring different things to the table. I think the big fear with that is, yes, it's in place, but yes, there are other places. You look at the Gator Collective, you look at Miami, and definitely some of the big boys in college football that I think have gotten a bit of a head start. So now I think it becomes how much can they make up the head start other people got elsewhere. But it is better in place now. The football facility is coming. The football operations facility, I think, is what they're calling it, or football only facility, what have you. Is they're gonna? I know they're hoping to break ground in less than a year, and that will be big. Yeah, I mean the big thing. And I think a big thing, too, when you look at them, you talk about ducks in the row, they're off to a good start, especially when you look at 2024 recruiting and some of the guys they're in on. Yeah. But this season needs to be that year where I think the results on the field back that up, because I think they've proven they can kind of recruit in that sphere, and they have definitely the facilities and the more of that stuff in place to recruit in kind of the top tier, but the results have to match. And so that's what makes this year so important.
Curt Weiler, Tallahassee Democrat, covering FSU football, joining us here. So the spring game, Trey Benson, transfer from Oregon, and Micah Pittman, another transfer from Oregon. Guess we're finally getting some payoff for the Willie Taggart years. These guys have come in and shown they can play. What are your thoughts on watching those two in the spring game?
Yeah, Benson's an interesting one because I know he's one who the fan base wasn't especially happy with the take. I mean, the fan base definitely doesn't always know best, but they like to think they do.
Right.
And they were pretty questioning taking a guy who's coming off a knee injury who didn't do much last year because he was off that knee injury. But my thing I always say with knee injuries is, especially ACL type stuff like it was for him, I think the second year removed is always much better than the first year. That's when they start looking like themselves again. He's a guy shaped unlike really anyone else in FSU's backfield, has that speed and power combination that can be real lethal. And yeah, I mean, he looked like kind of his high school tape did again, and I think it proved early the good take. Pittman is obviously, he's got NFL pedigree, the son of Michael Pittman, the brother of Michael Pittman Jr., who's in the NFL now, and so he's got that pedigree. He's 5'11", so he doesn't kind of look like a guy who could play outside. But throughout the spring, really, we saw a guy who can fight with just about anybody, put him against the cornerback, and really make some tough contested catches, and will bring a lot to that room. I mean, there are other guys too. Tatum Bethune didn't play in the spring game. He's the UCF transfer linebacker who has been really great this spring and got, I think, banged up late in spring. And Winston Wright was another receiver they brought in who was supposed to, I would think, it had the most production coming in. He was West Virginia's leading wide receiver the last 2 years. And then, unfortunately, over spring break was in a really bad car accident and suffered a pretty bad leg injury. Thankfully, he's okay. It was definitely one of those accidents where Mike Gravel was like, given how bad it was, we're glad he's still with us type situation. Yeah. So you haven't even gotten to see him, and you didn't see Tatum Bethune in the spring game. Still, it's showing again, like you saw last year, especially with Jermaine Johnson, with Jamie Robinson, with Keir Thomas. The transfer hit rate is going to be very high again this year for Florida State.
Curt Weiler joining us from Tallahassee. Watched the FSU spring game. I'm just looking at some of the numbers. I haven't had a chance to watch the game yet. 4 FSU quarterbacks combined to go 14 of 33 for 159 yards and 1 touchdown. That's not very impressive. What's going on there?
Well, it was not their best day. They were going to be the first to tell you that. They were much better throughout the course of the spring. You definitely saw progress from Jordan Travis. You even saw Tate Rodemaker really look as good as he has throughout his career. And I get that fans wanted to see that in the spring game and really didn't for the most part. There were a couple factors at play. Number one, the defense was running a pretty vanilla scheme that was trying to take away those deep passes and that was kind of giving up runs to not give up big passes and didn't have a ton of changes there. It was a windy day, and I think that may have affected some of it. It was a really windy day, really.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate that that's kind of the public display when we've seen a lot. We get to watch a lot of practice.
Okay.
And we've seen a lot better throughout the course of spring. So it's unfortunate that was a public showcase, but I'm not especially worried about that group.
Yeah, I've been reading your stuff,
Cool.
and I've heard a lot of good stuff about Jordan Travis and Rodemaker. Yeah. What about A.J. Duffy? Anything on him?
So A.J., I mean, he is not the prodigy that I think some people had hoped. Some people, I'm sure, had hoped. You always do when you get a top 100 quarterback that a true freshman is going to be able to come in and just be ready, and you can throw him out there, and he's exceptional. That's not the case. And it rarely is. I feel like you don't see true freshmen doing that a ton. There were quite a few days where he had kind of the throw of the day. I mean, he had the arm talent is very good. He can make some really unbelievable plays. And it was definitely, he was still getting used to the speed of the game. He needs the developmental red shirt that I would have expected he did coming into spring. But I think you saw enough of the wow that he could factor into the plans long term for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting, guys, because you do see some of the things he did in high school in the All-Star game. You think, oh, this guy can come in and compete. And that's rarely the case. And it doesn't mean he's got, he's not going to be good. It just means that, it's going to take a little bit longer than maybe some other guys. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You come in and you play, we saw that with Rodemaker, really. You come in and play behind a terrible offensive line with not a whole lot of receivers. It can crush your confidence, and it can crush the fans' confidence in you. And maybe it's not a direct reflection of who you are as a quarterback. So the fact that he may take some time to develop, I think, is not a bad thing, Seminole fans. Don't forget, back in the heyday, we didn't start quarterbacks till they were redshirt juniors, and it worked out pretty well, right?
That's crazy to think because, Jordan Travis is just now, I think, a redshirt junior.
I know,
and he's
right?
year 5 of college football, but because of COVID, I'm pretty sure he is still just a redshirt junior. So,
remember the days when guys sat on the bench and developed? Remember that? Wow, so long ago, right? All right. Anybody else catch your eye, especially on the defense? Because I know there's going to be a lot of new names on that side of the ball with the transfer portal.
Well, there's a lot of new names, but there's also a lot of guys coming back. I mean, obviously, you lose Jermaine, you lose Keir Thomas, you lose a veteran in Emmett Rice who didn't play last year, unfortunately, because of injury. But I mean, Jared Verse was obviously a huge get for FSU. The Albany defensive end transfer from the FCS level. And so people associate that, but he was a guy who, I mean, the film spoke for itself, and Miami, LSU, USC, Oklahoma, the big boys wanted this guy, and it really came down to him and to Florida State and Tennessee, and he picked FSU in large part because of conversations with Jermaine and Keir, just about, I mean, being the transfer coming into FSU and the coaching staff and all that. And you really saw him get acclimated this spring. I mean, there'd be days where he was, and you really saw it in Saturday's spring game. The first 3 series is he had a sack that kind of killed a drive, that killed a promising drive. He blocked the field goal, and then he had a sack on a third down that forced a 3-and-out. I mean, the first 3 series is he dominated, and he's had stretches this spring where he's really dominated. I mentioned Tatum Bethune. He's going to be a really good player for them. You'd hope the foot injury, I think he was in a boot on Saturday. I don't think it's something that's going to extend into anything where he'd keep him out come the fall. And in the defensive backfield, I mean, they played a lot of guys last year. They started a lot of guys last year, and they bring almost all of them back. They lose Miko Dotson. They lost Jarvis Brownlee to the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
But they bring back everyone else. And Jamie Robinson was really good for them last year, an all-SEC player at safety. Akeem Dent, I think, is really building on a breakout season.
Mm-hmm.
At cornerback, Omarion Cooper had an exceptional true freshman season. He was hurt early in fall and didn't come back wasn't able to play until later in the season. Had a really strong end of the season, has carried that over. And even the freshmen they brought in, Sam McCall and Azarie Thomas, have both really made impacts. I think can play like come this fall as true freshmen. So it's interesting to say, considering, I mean, you're losing the ACC Defensive Player of the Year and another guy who was a all ACC defensive lineman. But I think the defense across the board is going to be better than it was last year.
Well, that's important. And with the schedule they're playing, they got LSU in New Orleans week 2 after they open against Duquesne. And then
that's right.
Then they got a little practice game, which is probably good for this team, and then they'll go to LSU. So you're getting thrown in the fire right away in a very hostile environment. But I think it's something this team needs to get. And if they can get that win and start 2-0, that would be huge for this team. And I think, Liam, what I saw from LSU last year, they weren't world beaters, but they've got great talent, obviously, and it'll be a hostile environment. But if they can get that win, I think that's so key for this season. Would you agree?
Yeah, oh yeah. That game feels incredibly important because I think we talked about last year how tough beginning or the end of the schedule was. Their 2021 schedule was just that run of just a bunch of good teams to close out the year. Miami late, Florida, Clemson, within the final 6 games that you needed a fast start. They didn't get it. They were 0-4, and they somehow managed to get to 5-6 before losing to Florida and coming up just short of a miraculous bowl bid. This feels like another year where a strong start. I mean, if they're able to start 2-1 over those first 3, which is Duquesne, LSU, and New Orleans, and then at Louisville, even 3-0, I mean, either one of those would be very promising. I mean, as crazy as it is to say, FSU doesn't win its first game since 2016.
God.
In a minute. And they should do that. I know Jacksonville State happened last year. Duquesne is not Jacksonville State. It would take an abomination. I mean, losing that game is just about a fireable offense. So they should snap that, and we'll see what that could do for the confidence of this team.
All right, Curt, great stuff. Tell everybody how they can get your content on social media and at the Democrat.
Yeah, so it's Tallahassee.com or NoleSports.com. You can subscribe there. I think we do a lot of great work, me and my colleague on the FSU beat, Carter Carl. And then I'm on Twitter at Curt, CURTM Weiler, WEILER.
Must follow for all Seminole fans. Curt, we'll chat with you down the line. Thanks.
Always a pleasure. Thanks.
All right, our check-in there on Florida State. Sounds promising. No, they're not winning a national championship this year, but if they can get to 7-8 wins, I think that's a step in the right direction. They've got, I think their recruiting has been better. Could have been a hell of a lot better. Thanks, Dion. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this team looks like. It's interesting because you look at the numbers, you're like, my God, how could they be that bad throwing the football? But as he said, horribly windy day, and they weren't really, I guess, trying to throw the ball a lot that day.
No, and Jordan Travis going in, what is this, year 3 of a starter?
Yeah.
I think for him, and what a great point. He's still a redshirt junior.
Good
Hard
God,
to believe.
yeah.
I feel like he's been here for like 6 years already, which I think it's
this
5.
This will be his 4th year playing.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But it could have been a better recruiting cycle, obviously, but you get Duquesne to start. Please blow them out of the water. My goodness. I know he said it's not Jacksonville State, but yeah, if that wasn't a fireable offense, I don't know. I don't know.
Now, the guy that screwed that up roundly, well, the defensive coordinator screwed that shit up. That's unbelievable.
No.
You can't do that. But you see what Todd Bowles did in an NFL game.
Everybody's got a bad day.
Everybody makes a bad call every now and then. I'm encouraged. I just am reading a lot of Curt's stuff over spring. It does look like Jordan is really becoming a much better passer of the football. That was always my thing on him. Is just he just was inaccurate, and but obviously playing behind that offensive line, there was so much bad stuff going on. It just seems like everything is starting to calm down and going in the right direction. They're starting to get in, when you start reading some of the big time 23 and 24 recruits, it's always the same. Alabama, Georgia, FSU used to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then that disappeared for about 8 to 10 years. And now that's coming back. Some of these guys are starting to think about Florida State again.
Yeah.
If they can, get to 8-9 wins, you never know.
Yeah.
It could really, really turn positively for
And
them.
I think the LSU game is in play because
Huge.
LSU was really rough last year, and they're going to be doing a lot of new things with Brian Kelly, who's a damn good coach. We know that, despite the interestingness, I guess, of it, how it started there.
Mhm.
They're going to be a much better team, but going into that environment, I don't think they're playing in Death Valley. I think they're playing in the Caesars.
Yeah, it's in
if
New
I'm
Orleans.
correct.
Yeah,
but
that's
obviously it's
even worse.
still going to
Well,
be.
I don't know what worse. Both
I don't
of
think
them
it's
are
worse.
2 of the toughest places in the world
Still
to
going to
be a
be
visiting team.
Yeah, it's still going to be 95% LSU.
But that's the good thing. FSU is going to get a larger percentage of the tickets, and they'll sell them all. I think they probably will have 30,000. They'll have the ability to sell 20, 30,000 tickets if they, and I don't see why the alumni would not be gobbling them up.
I'm circling it on my calendar.
No, I'm taking my son.
circling mine.
We're definitely going to go down to Nolans, and we've been missing out on our FSU trips over the last few years with COVID, so it's time to get back in New Orleans. New Orleans is a good place to go watch a football game. It's all easy inside. It's that place still has a little special feeling to it. I've seen a lot of humongous games in that arena.
I mean, has it turned into SoFi yet?
No.
0 character.
It's got more character than SoFi. I mean, believe it or not, just because of the history that you've seen in that place. I mean, the FSU has some good history there, winning a national championship there and losing a national championship there for Florida.
I think that's my goal this year. With COVID over behind us, now that I've established that I can get on a plane and be okay, I got to start getting to some of these stadiums. I've been like nowhere hardly outside of this state. I gotta get things off my bucket list here.
Well, you may be taking your first business trip without kick, huh?
Yes. Maybe heading up to
not necessarily a historic. Well, actually, it is kind of historic.
Hey,
if the league flourishes, the USFL we're talking about.
Hey, I mean, I'm 22 years old. This is the first year of the business. If this is the first thing, I can think of a lot of worse things to do.
Yeah,
for your first business trip. My
first business trip was out to real business trip. Flew me out. This is 1988, 88 or 87. 88. Yeah, FSU versus Nebraska at the Fiesta Bowl.
What a bad business trip.
Peter Tom Willis was, I believe he was the quarterback. This was the 89 season, I think it was. It might have been the 88. No, the 88 season was Sugar Bowl. Dion intercepting at the end of the game to win that game. Anyway, the first trip was out to the Fiesta Bowl, and it was unbelievable. Oh, that was Danny McManus. Danny McManus on 4th and 12 hitting Ronald Lewis to come back and beat Nebraska. Yes, that was the one. And flew out there. They put us up at the Scottsdale Princess, and I was by myself. I was one-man banding. got to interview Brent Musburger. It's a big time, Tom Osborne, Bobby Bowden. Of course, I saw Coach Bowden and have known him since I, worked in Tallahassee. So that was fun. That was really, really fun. So you get to go to USFL, Birmingham, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Still in the works. In the works. Trying to make it happen.
That's the league opener next week, right?
This week, yes, coming up. It's going to be New Jersey Generals and Birmingham
Stallions.
I
even remember all the old names.
They brought them all back.
Branding matters.
Yeah.
Branding matters. And I think that's, even though I don't know who the hell's playing, it's like, oh, I know those teams. I don't know anybody on those teams.
Hey, I know the coaches. We know the coaches.
Skip Holtz, who we're going to try to get on this week.
Yeah, Jeff Fisher, Larry Fedora, Kevin Sumlin. There's some names. Todd Haley.
Yeah.
Your Tampa Bay Bandits.
Yeah, there's been no buzz about the Bandits here. Like, they're doing nothing in this market.
It's so hard. It's that they're all playing in Birmingham this year.
Yeah, but there's been nothing in this market. They haven't done anything.
Because they're all in Birmingham right now.
They still should be.
It's hard to have buzz that far away. It just is.
Well, I know. It should have a better plan.
They'd probably have more people at the games than USF. I'm just saying.
Oh, ouch, babe. Ouch. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some Lightning. We're going to get into last night's game over the Sabres, a 5-0 win. Was this the return of our actual playoff team that we missed so much? We shall discuss when we come back. March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month? And the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Juliet collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection of the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade at any time and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop local with the folks who support our community in so many charitable endeavors. It's the Golden Diamond Source, just a short 15-minute ride from Tampa, just over the bridge on Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477. Go to BAMMC.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at palermopa.com. Also, our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC. Christopher Lugo and his medical team over there will take good care of you if you're looking for a new primary care physician. Great place to start. They do personalized medicine, not a one-size-fits-all strategy. They're going to look at your blood work, look at all of your individual habits, your eating habits, exercise habits, and define a program just for you. And it works, folks. It works. He works with a lot of high-level military personnel, keeping our pilots in tip-top shape. And he could do the same for you. So go to BAMMC.com, BAMMC.com for more information. Schedule a consultation. And please tell him you heard it on the JP Peterson Show. All right, the Lightning with a big, by the way, Rich Hollenberg going to join us at 11:30, and we'll talk some Rays baseball then. We'll also be talking some Stu Sternberg stuff. He did an interview over the weekend on Bally. We'll play a little bit of that for you and break that down. But the Lightning last night were really, really good. A 5-0 win over Buffalo, who actually has been playing some pretty good hockey. They've gotten points in 9 of their last 12 games coming in. So they're starting to play better hockey. And the Lightning played better in their 2-1 overtime loss to Boston. the other night on Friday night, which I thought they played much better in their own end, much fewer odd man rushes given up, much fewer turnovers. And I think we saw that again last night. They're starting to take care of their own end, and that's important. And they also got contributions from all four lines, got goals last night, including Corey Perry, who got a goal. And Palat got a goal, and Hagel got a goal. Cooch got a goal. Colton got a goal.
It was the night for everybody to get off their slump.
Their schnides. Yeah, Palat hadn't scored in 28 games?
It was about that.
Yeah. All right, play him. Let's play something. Let's get mood.
Start with Scottie Perry.
Scottie Perry. Love it. Here
with no goals in his last 16. It's been a while coming, and that's a big one. 1-0 Lightning.
Did he need this goal or what? Yeah, incredibly long drought for him. A guy who's been a scorer ever since he first stepped on NHL ice. He's had a couple of big droughts this year. And this one, you can see the relief for him. He's had some chances, yeah, not as many as he would like. But how's that for some great control? A little stutter step here to maintain his balance. He actually shot that one with neither foot on.
It's right. Yeah. Both of his feet were in the air as he was tripped or upended by the defender and then kind of sprawled out, shot it right through the 5-hole. Nicely done. Nicely done. And then speaking of scoring droughts, Andre Palat, for the first time since he lifted the cup, it seems like 28 games it's been. And here it is. 2-on-1.
Back Lightning strikes, and it's 2-0.
The young defenseman Casey Fitzgerald just realized you can't try to stick handle by Andre Palat. He's too good. He's too smart. He knows what you want to do. And he intercepts this puck, and Fitzgerald is caught. And now Brayton Point, who had a chance from right down the middle of the ice. He knows his winger needs a goal really badly. He doesn't take the shot. He gets it to Palat. And Palat, I watched him in practice the other day. He was really shooting the puck, and it was going in the net.
Well, that helps.
And by the way, I wish he'd score more because that's an A+ goal song, by the way.
We were all wondering that. It's kind of a Boston thing.
It's a Boston thing. I think they asked him after, and he's like, "It's my favorite song."
Well, okay then.
I liked it though.
Well, yeah. Well, I'd like to hear it more often.
I want to hear it more often.
Sort of. Yeah. That's right. We can steal it. It's not theirs. It's not the
Boston's our bitch. Remember
that's
that.
right. Boston,
we took your song.
That's right. We took everything.
We took your cup. We took all of it. They got us with the Rays.
Quarterback.
Talk about that.
Yeah. That was we gave him that one. And then Brandon Hagel. Who I think's been playing some good hockey. Just has been a little snake bit. And this was a nice little backhand that he got in there.
In time was Sanders and comes back in front. Hagel scores! Brandon Hagel with another goal as a member of the Lightning.
His third
in the blue and white, and it's 3-0.
Well, here's another guy that they really needed to score and get some more confidence as well. But when you get your D-man up on the plate like Victor Hedman and then watch two guys go to him, and because there are two guys there, that means they're one short in front of the net. And Brandon Hagel just kind of sifts his way in there, reads the play, sees what's happening. Sorelli, of course, always keeps puck alive, and he's right there on the crease, keeps it alive, and Hagel is able to slam it in the open side.
There's Dave Randorf, Brian Engblom with the analysis there on Bally Sports Sun, the Lightning broadcast. Yeah, that's a guy we would love to get going as well. And we got a lot of scorers on this team that have been scoring. So that's, as we get into the playoff portion and down the stretch here, these guys have got to be better. They've got to be better. All right, let's hear from John Cooper post game. Hopefully, no Salty Cooper after a 5-0 win. For God's sakes, come on.
This all the time. What do you like about the process? And I think you guys were building off of what you guys kind of showed a little bit against Boston.
Yeah, to be honest, if we want to make some noise in the spring, it all comes back to how we play in our own end. And I know we didn't get 2 points out of the Bruin game, but we only gave up 1 goal in regulation. I thought we had pretty darn good third period. It didn't go our way that night, but we carried it into aside from probably that last 5 minutes of the second period where we got a little sloppy with where we were putting pucks. I liked what we did tonight. And, Buffalo's a team that's been given other teams in this league fits. They've been on a little bit of a run here for a while. So for us, take them out the way we did, we're pretty pleased with that.
How much easier is it to play right in your own end when you have a guy like Ryan McDonough back in the lineup?
With
Ryan McDonough.
Yeah, he's a stabilizer back there. And, it was nice to have him back in the lineup and then to play with the lead, because it feels like we haven't played with the lead for some time. So that was nice.
Coach, all 5 goals were even strength goals. How important to see the offense click in 5-on-5 situations?
Well, it's a good night all 4 score. I think Killer might have been the only guy in the sheet that wasn't, have a plus by his name. And it's not because he played poorly. I thought he played well, but it's if you can get contributions all through the lineup, it helps your cause. And we didn't have to depend on special teams. We only took, was it 1 penalty tonight? And that's what we need to do. We need to not be taking penalties. We haven't done that in the last couple of games, and it's helping us out. So it was nice to see everybody contributing tonight.
How nice was it to see Andre Palat get rewarded after?
Well, that was the talk on the bench. I mean, I don't know how quick those goals were, but Perry hadn't scored in 17 seconds. So Perry hadn't scored, and then Palat. So there was some good chatter on the bench. You could tell the relief for the guys. I think Pally might have been the only guy with 2 points in the game. So it was good for him, much needed for a couple of these guys.
You guys mentioned how much confident they are with Brian Elliott in that, and I know 10 games left. You map out the schedule a lot in advance for your goalies. You envision him maybe having 3-4 starts in the last 10 games, or like?
Yeah, at a minimum. So, we go down the stretch here, and I'm not going to. Don't hold me to any of this, but what do we have? 10 games left. We can go 6-4 or something like that. That'd be. I think that'd be, good for us, and give Fsu some rest on the stretch here.
When you like to settle in on your lines, what's the ideal timetable where you want to be able to settle on and get the lines you want to have?
Well, if we're fortunate enough to go to plus game 1, that's when we'll settle in.
Well, you made the moves on the lines a little bit. Are you starting to see like these new pairings have a little chemistry?
Yeah, I think so. Again, you see it tonight. Everybody contributed, and nobody was on the bad side of things. Like I said, do what you have to do in the defensive zone, and the rest of it will come a little easier for you. And that's what's been going on. And with all the lines contributing, there's no reason to break them up now.
About Hagel, do you like the way he's fitting in with
Yeah, I do. And you're starting to see him on the score sheet. And so he's quick player, and he gets in on the forecheck. It's his bread and butter. And he makes guys turn pucks over, and he was rewarded tonight for that.
You mentioned it's not like an instantaneous thing where a guy comes at the deadline and he's able to, just be ready right away. Like, how is that process? Is more so like, why do you think it takes so much time? I think for a lot of guys.
Well, because you got to remember that we get them for 3 hours a day. It's the other 21 hours that they're not with us, and so everything's brand new to them. There's probably a little bit of the shock that they've been moved. Some guys think they're getting, maybe Paul was a little different. He knew he was getting moved. He just didn't know where. So it's different. It's new teammates. It's acclimating yourself to a new community. You don't know, where the gas station is, let alone, trying to find out where the ice rink is. You got new teammates, new coaches, new system. Do I got to keep going? Like it's not as easy as you think. And, but in the end, hockey's a great sport, regardless of team you're on. It's, the guys, galvanized, they've come together. There's a lot of camaraderie. And when you bring in guys that are, just great human beings, it makes it much easier. So, but it can be difficult. And that's why you got to give these guys break, at least, 10 games to get their feet wet.
As John Cooper talking about that transition, which is never easy, and it's kind of what we've been saying. You know, even though these guys were at it a while ago, it takes a while to get everybody acclimated for the coaching staff to figure out where they fit best in what chemistry situation. I think they're starting to find that, and I think we're starting to find they can play their defensive end and not allow these odd man rushes. They get back to winning hockey games.
And no coincidence, it was in Ryan McDonough's return last night.
Not a coincidence whatsoever.
He was rock solid.
Yeah.
And I thought
By the way, what about the pass?
I was saying the pass to Kucherov. My goodness, he's got some underrated vision. And
he does.
And one of the things Coop said there, I thought it was the most important thing, is we mentioned that we think he's tired or whatever it is. He's just not been playing well.
Yeah.
Brian Elliott, this is courtesy of Joe Smith, which just shows you how good he's been. They've earned points in 11 of his 14 starts this year, and they're in a 5-1-1 stretch when he plays. And usually, we've been saying when McElhinney was in there in the few years before, when Domingue was in there, it felt like the Lightning weren't playing as well in their back end for those guys. Been a completely different time this year, honestly. And Brian Elliott has stepped up, and he said he's probably going to play 3 to 4 times minimum in these last 10 games. Good. And why wouldn't you? Because you're not losing games with Brian Elliott in there.
No, and one of the reasons Vasi has played so much over the years is he demands it. He does not like to sit on the bench. Yeah. He doesn't like to sit at all, and he gets cranky when he's told to sit. So he's got to it's a great problem to have when you have a goaltender like that, but especially given the nature of this world situation that we're in, and none of us have any idea how these Russian players are affected, whether they're affected a little bit or a lot, but there has to be something from a mental standpoint. And I think the more rest, the better for Vasi, and he'll get sharp as the playoffs come up. But we're in what is it, April 11th? We've still got 3 weeks till the playoffs for the most part. So he'll be fine. I think a little rest for him is good.
Yep. And of course, I think somebody had asked us last week or the week before what the meeting's magic number is. I believe it's down to 2 points. So they
can clinch at Boston. At Dallas on Tuesday.
So there you go.
Yeah. So they're getting in the playoffs right now. They're in third spot. And I've heard people say, we don't want to play Florida. We don't play. Look, you're gonna have to play them anyway. I think
you got to go through them.
You're gonna have to go through them anyway. They're not losing in the first round, unless it's to us. And look, they're a high flying team. They look a lot like we did pre Stanley Cup. So they may not have the jam that is necessary for the playoffs. We'll see.
And as the chips fall anyway at the moment, because they moved back in front of Boston, which I'm sure that's going to go to the wire of them interchanging
go back and forth.
But if you got to play Toronto in round 1, you still got to be ready,
right?
Because we already saw what happened when you played Toronto.
Us the other day.
They spanked you.
Yeah.
Corey Long probably maybe a little bit more exaggerating by saying that Mitch Marner is the best player on the planet right now. I think his teammate would have something to say about that.
Yeah, they're both very good,
but they're
really good together. Playing on the same team, they're really, really good.
Yes.
And everybody's good in the East. This is a rare year where the 8th seed is not much worse than the number 1 seed. I think that's in Washington, every bit as good as Carolina or Florida.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a dogfight. Every series is going to be a dogfight,
and that's why they needed a big win like that. Confidence builder, energy at home last night. I saw you got to train somebody to take your spot one day too.
The kids' day. It was kids' day.
That?
So Wyatt Ross this his second or third time being the announcer. Kid is like unbelievable. Was not nervous. He's like, we're going over the scripts. He's like, all right, so I talk here and then you talk here, and then we could do the comp. He's like directing me. I'm like, go get it there, young man. He just had no fear whatsoever. Really, really good. Really, really good kid. So we had kids day all over the place. Greg Wolf had somebody with him, and our PA announcer. I just love what the Lightning do with all this stuff. And yes, I know he's going to take my job, everybody. If I get one more effing tweet, like, hey, dude's going to take your job, man. Like, yeah, I know. He's really good. That kid has a future in broadcasting. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Somebody reminded me that said, wow, he looks like a mini Donald Trump. I mean, it's got the hair coming over on the side. I'm like, kind of does. Kind of got that bravado too. And a lot of people will bristle at that, but I'm like, kid kind of does. He kind of does. Yeah, he's something else. And he plays hockey for his team. He's like, hey man, my team's a 325. Can I give him a shout out? I'm like, hell yeah. I said, but don't do it till the end, because once they give you a shout out, they leave. So you got to wait till the end. Pro tip, kid. Don't do it in the beginning. Do it at the end. Got to keep them around. Yeah, really fun night. Just love the way the Lightning do all that stuff. It's outstanding on so many levels. Maybe wish some other teams would take a little lesson from the way the Lightning do business. It really kind of works. All right, well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, really sad story to talk about this weekend. Dwayne Haskins killed tragically in a bizarre incident. We'll talk about that and a couple other NFL notes, including the cancellation of Adam Schefter. Finally, stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by, in our second hour, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking for a place to get some testosterone therapy, if the place you're going to just isn't what you're looking for, not doing it professionally and feel like you're being monitored like you should, because it's a very, very serious endeavor, go to BAMMC.com. Christopher Lugo does a terrific job. As I mentioned, works with a lot of military folks, works with a lot of folks in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who, your testosterone levels just deplete after a while because of the food and the pollution in our atmosphere and in our environment. So it's something that you got to look at. You may be feeling tired, a little run down, not as spry as you once were. It was probably your testosterone level. So go to BAMMC.com and do a consultation, and they'll let you know what's going on. All right, wanted to hit a couple other stories here before we talk to Rich Hollenberg at 11:30, talk some more Rays. Over the weekend, Dwayne Haskins tragically lost his life in a bizarre incident. I guess he got into a car accident or something on I-95, tried to cross traffic and got hit by a truck.
Yeah, it looks like he was in a rental car, and I believe it ran out of gas. And then I think he was walking across, if I'm correct. I want to get the story correct here before we say it, but I believe that's kind of the gist of it there.
Yeah, it was kind of a bizarre story, and it happened early in the morning. It's just so tragic. Just a young kid, and for what? It's just a weird, bizarre situation. Yeah. And I know the first thing that I thought about was like, what the hell are you doing out on walking around on an interstate? That's crazy. We don't have any toxicology reports or anything like that. But interesting to note that Adam Schefter posted to break the news. And basically, he didn't have he kind of talked a lot about his career setbacks while announcing the guys.
He made a point, and you have to understand, Adam Schefter was the first one to report this story. So you're the one that's going to break this news, which is obviously going to go big.
Yeah.
And he made it a point to have to understand that he struggled to stay in the NFL with Washington and Pittsburgh. That was the first thing he said before getting to what happened. And he got pushback from that from a lot of people, even at people at ESPN, like Ryan Clark, called them out on that. And Ryan has since said that Schefter reached back out to them and apologized, but he deleted that tweet. And I don't think we've seen him on Twitter since, but Adam Schefter has had a few more incidents of kind of stuff like this where he doesn't do the best of wording these tweets, and it's landed him in hot water, which is interesting to note. But still, though, the death of Dwayne Haskins, it's very sad, very sudden, as it always is when an athlete just goes 24 years old. 24 years old is hard to wrap your head around that he's gone. But the video over the weekend that I saw that I'll take away, 11 years old, first stepped on Ohio State football campus, and he looked around at all the trophies and he said, I'm going to play here one day.
Wow.
And he went on to be one of the most successful quarterbacks in the history of Ohio State.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll remember from him.
And just, kind of a bizarre situation. I think we'll find out more. It's one of those things where you want, what the hell, was he drunk? Was dad? And you want to know all these things. And it's not the time to know that. No. It's just it's tragic and it's awful. And it just, I just hate hearing things like that when, guys have their whole life ahead of them too,
Yeah. And even the day before, I believe he was working out with the Steelers. He was with Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. He was doing all that stuff to gear up. I think he was still a free agent or out there. He might have still been on Pittsburgh's roster. I'm not sure, but he was working out with those guys. And Chase Claypool posted a video, just the kind of man that he was and the sadness. It really was tough to see.
All right. A couple other things that happened this weekend that we haven't chatted about. Tiger Woods, by the way, has committed to playing in the Open.
Yes.
At St. Andrews. Very, very flat. So that will be a much easier walk for him. From what I saw this weekend, I think he can contend. I really do. I think the more golf he plays, the more he gets back to tournament golf. I don't think he's going to play a lot. Didn't have to play a lot. But in places, I think it's going to be kind of a pick your spots type thing. He's not going to play Bethpage Black. He's not going to play some of these ridiculously hard courses. He might try to play them, but it's not going to be his best opportunity. But I think if he doesn't have any huge setbacks, he can be competitive at the Masters. I think he can be competitive at the Open.
Yeah,
I really do.
He did commit to the PGA in Southern Hills. That's next month. Which he won there in 2007.
Yeah.
He said he's going to do everything he can to get back there, though, like he did for the Masters.
That's another tough walk.
Yeah, that's a TBD right now for him. But hey, he got over this hurdle.
Yeah,
he played 72 holes. He did it.
And the hardest conditions, wet conditions for walking up and down. I mean, if he can walk that course, he can walk any course.
So it would surprise me if he takes more time to rest here and get his leg back up to speed, because he said it's going to take about a week to probably get back more strength in his leg because it let him down. If he doesn't play between now and the U.S. Open and he's just practicing nonstop, getting that leg healthy, he could be in contention easily.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be a slow process, but hey, he finished the journey, and it was a sight to see. It really was.
The CBS Sports Power Rankings, Rays jumped to number 1 after a weekend.
We're getting respect. Respect.
Much respect. Put some respect on that name. Yeah. But listen, by the way, we're going to play the Stu Sternberg stuff after we get Rich Hollenberg on in our final segment. We'll talk about the future of this team, where they're headed from a stadium standpoint. But we're going to talk some baseball next with Rich Hollenberg. Great weekend. He covered it all for Bally Sports Sun. And we'll get the highs and lows according to Rich Hollenberg. Rich on Sports when we come back. March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month? And the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Julieb collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection of the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade at any time and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop local with the folks who support our community in so many charitable endeavors. It's the Golden Diamond Source, just a short 15-minute ride from Tampa, just over the bridge on Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for joining us. Our secondary brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Thanks to all of our great sponsors, the Golden Diamond Source, American Mortgage Services, Scott Fitzgerald, Italiano Insurance, Chris Palermo, all of our great sponsors. And now it's time to welcome in the great Rich on Sports, Rich Hollenberg from Bally Sports Sun, who is undefeated this year as our Rays. What's up, Rich? How are you?
It's tremendous to be part of the undefeated Rays, the only undefeated team remaining in Major League Baseball.
How about that? Not the Dodgers. No, not the Yankees, not the Red Sox. It's the Rays, the little guys that can. What did you take away from the first weekend of Rays baseball 2022? There was so much interesting stuff out there. What was your big takeaway?
I guess if I think about it in phases, obviously the Rays are built and will always hang their hat on run prevention. So getting that shutout on a Sunday when you could sweep a team, no matter who it is. I mean, the Orioles are not going to be contenders this year. They're still a couple of ways from, completing what they hope is a rebuild. But still, to shut out a team after being up 2-0, anybody around baseball will tell you it's hard enough to sweep a team, but to do it in the convincing fashion that the Rays did shows me that their pitching is where they want it to be at this stage of the game. Corey Kluber looked good. I think everything went according to plan for pitching, the pitching plan for the Rays, which is great. They obviously have a couple extra arms now until May 2nd when the rosters shrink from 28 to 26. And then the other thing that jumped out at me, and I think, honestly, JP, we'll be talking about this all year long and for the next decade, hopefully, is Wander Franco going 6 for 11 like it was the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still 21 years old. This was his first opening season series of his young career, and he made it look like he's been there for 10 years.
Yeah. He makes the game look so easy, bro. And I haven't had a chance to be around him at all. You have, but everything I hear is the guy's he's older than his years, but more than that, for a superstar, and maybe, and Orestes brought this up the other day, the fact that he doesn't speak a lot of English, probably doesn't pay a lot of attention to media or social media for that matter, is a good thing. Because he just seems supremely focused on baseball and just being a great baseball player. Just tell me a little bit about him, the vibe you get being around him.
I'm not sure how little attention he pays to social media. He's 21 years old, JP.
Yeah.
We have kids in that age range. We know how attuned to social media they are, whether they speak a lick of English or not. But that said, I have never been around first of all, I don't know if I've ever been around someone as talented as him, baseball-wise. I really don't. I mean, in terms of being in the Rays organization, I've been around Ken Griffey Jr. and I've been around Mike Trout, but those are the kind of names that, are being associated with the kind of talent that Wander has. And I just happened to talk to him yesterday in the clubhouse for just a couple of seconds. And listen, the fact that he still plays like he has something to prove, like there's a chip on his shoulder. And that is why the Rays have been scouting him and following him and been part of his life since he was 13 years old, as ridiculous as that sounds, is because he plays that way. And that is the way the Rays build their roster. There is no one on this team that thinks, oh, I've got to figure it out. I really don't have anything to prove anymore. You have Corey Kluber throwing yesterday, who's won 2 Cy Youngs, but he's got a chip on his shoulder because he's 35 years old and hasn't won a ring yet.
Yeah.
You've got Brandon Lowe, who hit 39 bombs a year ago, and he's got something to prove because the first couple of months of the season, he was hitting about $120.
Yeah.
Everybody on this roster, up and down the roster, feels like they are still underrated, undervalued, underdogs in some way, shape, or form. And even though he signed an 11-year, $182 million contract and is widely regarded as the next great player in baseball, Wander Franco goes about his business like he still has something to prove.
Yeah. So very well said. And I do have to go back to you saying that you've never been around someone this talented. You actually co-hosted a show with myself and Brian Fasulo, for God's sakes. And you hit me with that insulting verbal harpoon I may never recover from again. My God.
Well, let me refine that too. I've never been around an athlete like that.
No, I'm even more insulted.
I've been shoulder to shoulder with some legends.
Indeed, you have. Oh, if we could only get some replays of the Sports Source. Are there any living recordings of that show that you would know?
That's a great question. There's one man who would know that, and his name is Andrew Latimer. And we have to hunt him down and hold his feet to the fire to get some.
I'm sure the fans love the YouTube of that.
Right?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. The great Rich Hollenberg joining us here. Other than Wander Franco, I think one of the other things that we take away from this is this team played a little bit of small ball. There was more contact this weekend. And from a pitching standpoint, they were very, very efficient. So talk to me a little bit about maybe, I want to say a change in philosophy, but something that they're doing that they're adding to their arsenal, so to speak.
Well, I think what you noticed is accurate. I don't know if it was by design. I think they'll take a Brandon Lowe 2-run bomb like we saw yesterday, just about every game. And Frankie Mejia the day before that, as unlikely a source as that may be. But one thing that did jump out of me in the vein that you're talking about, JP, is we spent so much time raving about all the skills that Wander Franco has, and maybe offensively, the most underrated skill of his is his plate discipline. How he could spit on balls that are on the corner and they go for a ball instead of a strike. And he's got incredible, uncanny plate discipline. What we saw, at least what I saw, and Doug and I talked about it on the postgame show, was the plate discipline that Josh Lowe has. And Josh Lowe is going to get more than his fair chance to get 300, 400, 500 ABs this year as a rookie, deservedly so. And he drew 3 walks this weekend. And that's going to go relatively unnoticed in the grand scheme of things. But he had a couple of hits. He had a triple, showed us he can run the bases. He played a good outfield. I was really impressed with the overall maturity of his game, just like we've been saying for the last 70-plus games that we've seen Wander Franco, how, unnaturally mature their games look. I would put Josh right up there with Wander in that category.
Yeah, and so as you look at this team right now, and I still think it may miss a big bopper from the right side. I don't know if Harold Ramirez will be that guy, whatever. A big bopper. It would be nice to have one in the middle of the lineup. But when you look at Josh and Wander, and we look at Arozarena, him beating out that play, I think it was on Friday night, that allowed him to get to the winning run. There's so much talent on this team. It's all young talent, so it doesn't get necessarily the press that other teams get with the Tatises and other teams. But the collection of young talent and their potential is mind-boggling. And as Sternberg kind of hinted to, since they didn't get Freddie Freeman, that hopefully there'll be some flexibility in payroll, that they might be able to add somebody that actually has a big contract later on in the season, where they address their weaknesses. That to me is also very exciting to think about.
They would think about it. Absolutely. Did it work last year when they got maybe the most prized and coveted power hitter from the right side in Nelly Cruz?
Nope.
No, they beat everybody to the punch and kind of had the ace up their sleeves, and they ended up losing to the Boston Red Sox in the ALDS. I think there's a moral there. I don't think that the Rays are dealing from a position of needs as much as they are wants. Would they want a right-handed power bat to fortify the lineup? Absolutely. Do they need that? I'm not so sure. I think what we're going to see this year, and listen, knock wood, I don't know if Mike Zunino is going to hit 30-plus bombs again. I'm very confident that Brandon Lowe is going to go 30-plus again. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Randy Arozarena and Wander hit 25-plus home runs again. So you're looking at a very thick lineup. You're not going to get a 40 to 50 home run guy necessarily, although I think Brandon's going to try his hardest to accomplish that this year and in coming years. But I think you're going to get some home run balance, some power balance out of this lineup. And then, listen, if the cards, fall in the right way around the trade deadline, of course they're going to look to address whatever that need is when the time comes. But I don't think the Rays are in a position where it's like, oh, all they need is this, and they'll be competing for a World Series. I think, and listen, we're 3 games in. I understand that. I am not prone to hyperbole.
I'm talking about the trade
but
deadline
I
already.
came into the season thinking the Rays are the team to beat in the American League. They're back-to-back American League East champs. They didn't have a ton of turnover in their roster. There are a lot more weaknesses in the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees than there are in the Rays. So try and chase us down, everybody else in the division and in the league, and we'll see where we stack up when it comes down to crunch time.
The great Rich Hollenberg joining us here off a big weekend for Rays baseball. And I think when you look at the star pitching this weekend, I think everybody's going to ease in. But you'd like to see guys go further, but that's not going to happen early in the season, especially with the truncated spring. But I think I like what I saw from Kluber. I like what I saw from Shane McClanahan. We'll see what we get. I know Yarbrough had a little bit of a setback, but what do you see for starting pitching as we head into this Oakland series?
Well, I think just like maybe most at this point, JP, again, with the shortened spring training and everybody kind of keeping the leash a little bit tight on your starters at this point, I think the first couple of games of this series are going to be very telling. I don't think
anybody would say that it was an overwhelmingly positive spring for Luis Patino. He got touched up a couple of different times. So I'm really excited to see him because we all know the potential, that dreaded word, potential. But we're all excited to see what he could deliver on as a very young pitcher. And then could Yarbs have a bounce back year? You know, he's in need of that. He wasn't terrible last year, but I don't think he took the step forward that a lot of people were expecting. And then he got caught in kind of that middle, you know, I hate to call it purgatory, but, you know, was he a starter?
Yeah.
Was he a bulk guy? Was
Right.
he a long reliever? Or could he 5-6 innings as a starter? He showed flashes of both. I think he was better out of the bullpen than he was as a starter. But I think all intentions are that, especially until Shane Baz gets back and healthy and becomes a fixture in the starting rotation, we're going to need innings and we're going to need quality starts out of Ryan Yarbrough. Does he have that opportunity? Yes. Does he have the ability? Yes. Can he put those things together, especially early in season? I think that's going to go a long way towards telling how successful the Rays are going to be in the first couple of months.
All right, my friend. Good vibe at the Trop this weekend, huh? Sell out on Friday, big crowds on Saturday and Sunday. Well, I didn't get a chance to get over there, but it seemed like a really good vibe on the tube.
It was dynamite. The food is better than ever at the Trop.
Nice.
The energy was better than ever at the Trop. That said, JP, it's going to be a big drop-off. It always is when the Oakland A's come to town, and these are not the A's that, you know, we're used to competing against, who are kind of like the West Coast version of the Rays. They were in a major sell-off. They lost their two major corner pieces in Matt Olson at first and Matt Chapman at third. So it's a different Oakland A's team. What I would encourage everybody to do is the Rays should win these games. I mean, it's a 4-game series. I'm not calling for a sweep by any means, but they should win these games. If you want to come out and see a win early in the season, now's the chance to do it. There's going to be plenty of good seats available.
Exactly.
So come on out and show the two-time defending American League East champs some love.
Absolutely. And you gave us, I haven't talked to you since the Final Four. You gave us Kansas, I believe, last time you were on here. Because you,
I try to drop a gift every now and then, a little Easter egg for you every now and again.
What'd you think about that Final Four? Well, the Carolina Duke game was just one for the ages.
It was lights out. And listen, I mean, retrospect is obviously 2020, but what I thought was going to play out kind of did.
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina played their championship game on Saturday against Duke, and it was a tremendous game for viewers and for fans. But it was going to be tough for either of those two teams, Duke or North Carolina, to rebound from an epically emotional and hard-fought game on Saturday against your fiercest rival, and then have to go play an elite team like Kansas in the championship game. And it turned out to play out that way. All the credit, though, to Bill Self in Kansas, rebounding from down 15 to come back and win. It was a great tournament. It was a great Final Four.
It really was one of the best in a long, long time. All right, my friend, we'll catch up with you soon out there at the Trop. Hope to make it out there this week. Thanks, pal.
All right, take care.
The great Rich Hollenberg right there. Rich on Sports on Twitter, and of course, watch him tonight on Bally Sports Sun. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, a little bit more off the field stuff from the Rays as we look to what's the next step for this team in terms of getting a stadium and getting a World Series as well. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595, or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. By the way, if you're in the market for a refinance or a new home, Scott Fitzgerald, American Mortgage Services, where you need to go. Scotty does a great job not only finding you the best rate because he will take it to the market. Dozens and dozens of companies will compete for your loan, not just one bank or one 1-800 number that you're calling. Get the competition out there to compete for your loan. And also, he'll get it done quicker than the big banks do. And he'll also have much lower fees than the big banks will. That's what they do. And they'll also take a look at your entire financial picture and give you some great financial advice on what, if you can get money out of your house, how much money you can get out of it. And also say, pay off this loan, pay off that loan, pay off this loan. Then you can work it with this cheap money, and it'll save you thousands of dollars on your monthly nut. That's where it really, really helps. In this time of inflation, you got to be smart with your money. So see how much money is in your home and see what that refi is going to cost you. And it'll be lower than any place else with Scottie Fitzgerald. So hit him up, Scott@amstampa.com, Scott@amstampa.com. All right. Well, Stu Sternberg did meet with the media and did his annual interview on Bally Sports Sun on opening weekend. So we have a couple of pieces of this. So we're going to play it right now and get to the heart of the matter.
But you have emphasized how strong of a commitment
Bally
you do
Sports
have
Sun.
to Tampa Bay and this community. Can you tell us a little bit about that commitment and why this is the place that you guys would like to be?
Yeah, after I say how hard Ramirez swings at that, wow. Yeah, it's been our focus. I came in 2004, took over the team in 05. That was inside. Sorry.
What do we think of that?
He did get that
I didn't
right.
like that one. At least from this angle. Everything we have done to this point is to keep baseball here for generations to come. I was very high on the plan to do it. I know a lot of fans weren't. I totally get it. I could be apologetic for some of it. Things that we tried to do. However, here we are right now. We dust ourselves off, and we are going to work with both sides of the bay. And I know there's a lot of desire to keep the team here. And that's the most important thing. We have a tremendous amount of desire to keep the team here, and we're going to get to work on that. And we have been, even the last few weeks. And, we like to do it, move that forward.
And I imagine that you like to see the sellout crowd here on open.
That's enough. First of all, working on both sides of the bay. This is, and I told you guys this was going to be their next play, to play St. Pete against Tampa. When Brian Auld and Matt Silverman, his chief lieutenants, literally came out last week and said their focus is on downtown Tampa. Then why are we even talking about St. Pete? We all know Major League Baseball is not going to let you build there. So why are we even talking about it and wasting time on it? And Mayor Castor said it the other day. We got to get going on this. We don't have time to play one side against the other. It's duplicitous as everything that Stu does in this regard. And I'll read some of these tweets because it's not just me. This is one talking about salary from Chris Torello. He said having two new mayors allows for a, quote, reset. He legitimately told us Friday, everyone knows whenever we can make our ball club better, we're going to do it. So then why didn't you land Freddie if you thought your offer was the best? Why not go the Steinbrenner extra mile? Absolutely. And that's why I don't think it was ever a legitimate prospect, to be quite honest with you. I think it's, I think it was a joke. I don't think they were ever really going out. They knew the Dodgers were going to outbid them. From Sports Only 62, does this jackwagon ever open his two-faced pie hole without a lie spewing forth? If his desire to keep the Rays here was that strong, why did he want to move them to Montreal for half the year? Duh. It's like, it's so obvious. And then he comes back and said, we always wanted to be here when you just try to abandon this market. Makes no sense. And now this is the best market to be in. No, because Major League Baseball told you that you're not leaving and you got to get it done. This is from Gary. Like it or not, St. Pete has the waterfront property available that Tampa doesn't, and it's reportedly offered to pay more for the stadium than Tampa has in the past. Do I think they end up in St. Pete? No, but I think the Rays are trying to leverage more money out of Tampa. Absolutely, they are. And here's the deal. They don't have waterfront property there. Al Lang is not a viable site, and nobody wants it down there. And Albert Whitten is – I chuckle at this – is not a viable site because of climate change, according to Brian Ault. It'll be underwater. What if that's what it takes to get them out of St. Pete? Whatever. And Raise Up writes this. They've been trying to leverage money for 15 years now, and they've been going through many mayors. Get it done already. We're tired. They're really pushing the limit. They're honestly lucky the Rays have one of the most laid-back fan bases and media. Other fan bases would have Stu removed already. Oh, I totally agree with that. It's ridiculous. Your thoughts?
My thoughts, honestly, I think everybody's last straw was the Montreal thing. And the way he says it, like yeah, and since 2005, it's always been my goal. And he takes that, that little pause. It's just the way he says things.
I could be apologetic
about some of those things. I don't know. Anything that Stu says about the stadium at this point, you judge people by what they do, not what they say.
Right.
We always have said that here. In regards to I had a quick point to what Rich said. The stadium was buzzing on Friday. Saturday and Sunday went to 15,000 and then to 14,000 on Sunday. I understand that that's better than what we're used to, and it's opening weekend. Am I out of line for saying that underwhelms me?
No.
And at this point, it's like I have to say, to the fans out there, at some point, some people I think need to go. Just show up to the game. It's opening weekend. You're seeing a defending AL East champion, a team that was. I understand we've been over all the issues, but how many people are in Tampa Bay area again?
3.5 million at this point in the 7-county area.
14,000, 15,000 people. What percentage of that is that?
It's a very small percentage.
It's not even a percent, is it?
Yeah, no.
What are other people doing on a Saturday or Sunday?
Look how beautiful the weather is. Nobody wants to go inside a dome when weather is this beautiful outside. Seriously.
I don't know. I think more people need to be there. And I know that tonight it's probably going to be, 10,000
Oh,
max.
it'll be nothing. This would have been a great weekend or a great series to have at Legends Field, wherever the hell they call it now. Yeah, where the Yankees play. We were at that stadium the other day. It's the most beautiful outdoor stadium. So many great areas. If you sold a Hillsborough County ticket, imagine how buzz would be in that. If they weren't a trial, they were over in Hillsborough County at Legends Field, Steinbrenner Field, whatever the hell you want to call it.
And even
cover up all the Yankee stuff with signage. Make it all Rays. You can do it.
Who knows if the Yankees would let them do that?
Of course they will. It's owned by the TSA.
But even on Friday, they had 25.
George Steinbrenner said it would be fine when he was alive. So,
but even the Friday, it was 25,000 that were there.
Yeah,
that's how it's a sellout. Okay, to me, sellout is the entire thing is sold out. Don't tell me it's a sellout and then you sold 0 tickets. You had the entire upper deck not open.
Right.
I know that that's what they don't do anymore. That's not a sellout. It's not. And there were empty seats.
Well, I'll tell you this. If they had $10 tickets for the upper deck, they'd sell them out.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, then do it. Why didn't he do it?
I don't know. That was the other thing I was going to say.
Because it costs money to staff the stadium. The parking gets worse. Everything gets worse when you put more people in the stadium. He knows that. So for the people that actually come, it's a worse experience because the whole damn thing sucks. The location sucks. Like I get it. You get in there on a hot day in the summer. It's not that bad. When the weather's this beautiful, people got other things to do. They're playing golf. They're watching the Masters. They're doing a lot of different things.
Fair.
And it's the owner. People underestimate how much they hate the owner, and people do not want to pay money and put it in his pockets. It's a huge, huge problem.
I just feel like at some point, if you love the Rays so much to watch them on the TV, my goodness, go to the damn stadium, please.
It's tough sell. All right. And the whole idea of him talking about the payroll and the fans showing up is just so ridiculous. You got $500 million in the bank. Go pay for a player. And if you got flexibility at the deadline, okay, they want to go out and get a frontline pitcher that makes $25 million a year, whoever that guy's going to be that's available, and they add that salary, then I'll say, okay, you finally did what you said you were going to do. But until then, they break $80 million, they're still about half of what the league average is. So, no, it's not a big payroll. All right, our thanks to Rich Hollenberg joining us today, Curt Weiler as well, talking FSU football. If you missed anything, it's always on the app and always at fanstreamsports.com. Have a great day, everybody.